Yo, what is going on guys? Shri Kanase here. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up step by step a Google search ad. Now, if you don't know exactly what a Google search ad is, a Google search ad is basically when your advertisement gets shown at the very top right below the Google shopping ads. Google search ads mostly show up when somebody searches for a specific product, and the benefit about these ads is it shows up at the very top above all of the other links that you can click on. So in this case, you're kind of skipping the SEO techniques because you're just paying Google to be shown at the very top. But I can't express how beneficial Google search ads have been for my business, and the biggest thing that kind of blows my mind away is not a lot of people, especially dropshippers, use Google search ads. Now, if you stick till the end of this video, not only are you gonna know exactly how to set one up successfully and make it so that it actually works, but also some tips and tricks I'm gonna be telling you about Google search ads at the very end. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. So before showing you the actual tutorial, I want to show you the results I've gotten from Google search ads. So I actually started my first Google search ad back in around June of 2018. So it's been a little over a year since I've been playing around with Google ads, and as you can see, they took off in the months afterwards, and peak season for this specific Shopify store, it is in a niche, is actually in January and February. So as you can see, I got a lot of conversions in that time. But if we scroll down and look at the specific data, we'll see exactly why Google search ads are so beneficial. So this was actually a Google company search campaign. And if you don't know what a company search campaign is, I actually made a really cool video on how to set one up. The link for that video will be in the description below, so watch that video after this one. But let's go ahead and look at the stats of this specific search campaign. So what I did was I had 3 different types of variants of text running inside this Google search campaign. And basically all I was testing is I was just testing different ad copy like we would normally do with Facebook ads. But if we look at the specific clicks, impression, CTR, we can see that the CTR was very high, especially because this was a company search campaign. But this specific ad right here was the first one that I tested. As you can see, I only had a CTR of 39%. And then I did some tweak to that, made some more changes, and it increased to about 40%, still not that great. So finally, I really dove into the ad copy, added some cool copywriting words that really make a person filled with emotion. And as you can see, the CTR jumped to 54%. Now, a lot of you guys won't know how crazy this number is. Basically, out of 2 people, 1 person was clicking the ad every single time. And as you can see, I got 10,787 impressions, and out of those impressions, 5,867 people actually clicked on the ad. That is a really high number, and I have yet to achieve such results even with Facebook ads. But let's go ahead and go on to the most important metrics, which is the cost of this ad and the conversion value, meaning how much money I made from this ad. So if we go ahead and look at the cost, we can see that I spent roughly $1,027.80 on just this ad. And we got about 887 conversions, and that goes to about $20,389.11. That is such a big ROAS for a simple Google company search campaign. The second ad, which was the first one that I actually made, spent $97 to make back $690. Again, impressive stats. The third one spent around $126.55 to make back $1,735.66. So as you can see, with Google search campaigns, if you do them correctly, which I'm going to show you in this video how to, they could really take your business to the next level. I mean, I don't even have to calculate the profit that I made from these ads. I know that I made a lot of profit. But now that we've got that aside, let's go ahead and go into the ads manager to show you exactly how to set up Google search campaigns. So right from the top, when you are on the Google Ads dashboard, you want to go ahead and click on the plus button and hit new campaign. That is where we go ahead and create the Google search campaign. So for the goal, we want to of course go with sales, unless you're running some other type of business where you may need leads or anything else. But if you're running an e-commerce Shopify store, you want to go ahead and click on sales. From sales, you'll see all of these options. We want to go ahead and click on the first option, which is search. And once we do that, we'll be taken to this section right here. You want to go ahead and click on website visits, and you want to enter your business's website. So in this case, I'm going to pretend I own google.com and just type that in. Make sure that it is correctly typed in, otherwise you won't get traffic. So go ahead and click on continue, and this is where the actual campaign setup is done. So for the campaign name, I like to keep it very simple and straightforward. So in this case, I want to get sales, but let's pretend I'm selling a dog necklace. So we would type in for the campaign name, dog necklace, and then dash, we would put in sales because that's what we're optimizing for. Once you do that, you don't have to make any changes at the top where it says type search, goal sales. That is more of an advanced feature, and especially if this is the first time you're setting a search campaign up, you don't have to worry about that. We scroll down to networks. I like to include both Google Search Partners and Google Display Network. This is similar to just choosing auto placements on Facebook ads. With Google, you want to let the Google algorithm do most of the decision making for you. So if the algorithm feels that more people are searching your specific product on another Google Search Partner, that's where this ad will be shown to more. So keep these checked unless you're 100% sure that people will only search your product on google.com. Go ahead and scroll down again. We want to ignore the show more settings tab because that is more of an advanced feature which you will do after you get results. But for now, go ahead and go to location. You want to go ahead and choose only the United States. The main reason why I choose only the US is because some ad copies may not work for all countries. So an ad copy that works for the US may not work for Canada, and we want to test that individually. So each campaign should have only one country targeted. So in this case, we do US, we scroll down, language, leave it as it is. It should be chosen as English. But now this is the main part, audiences. This is where you get to choose the audiences. Now, this is not where you get to choose what search terms your ad should pop up for, but rather specific general audiences. So if we look at the 3 columns right here, there's one column for search, meaning you can just directly search a term, phrase, or specific URL that you want to target. If we go to ideas, this is where you can save all of the audience ideas that you come up with. And finally, browse. So when you click on browse, there are 3 options for you to choose from. The first one is who they are, meaning detailed demographics. This is where you can choose whether they're married, whether they've completed college or high school, whether they're homeowners, etc. The second one is what they're actively searching or planning. So if you click on that, there are all kinds of categories that you can choose from: autos and vehicles, baby and children, beauty products and services, etc. And finally, if you go to the last section, this one is more directed towards how they have interacted with your business already. So this is good to use if you already have tons of data on your store, but if you're completely new, you should be focusing on both of these at the top. Normally, I don't like to choose an audience directly from here because unlike Facebook ads, with Google, there are very limited options that you can choose from. So unless you absolutely can see the specific product or service that you want to advertise, I would highly recommend that you don't choose the audience right here. But let's say, for example, you're in the baby niche and you sell baby products. If we go ahead and look at the baby and children's products and click on the drop down menu, we can see that there are a lot of options for you to choose from. So let's say that you sell child car seats. In this case, you can directly go ahead and choose this specific interest to show up for. And the main reason behind this is that this is very, very specific to exactly what we want to sell. As you can see, the impressions that child car seats gets is about 1 billion to 5 billion. That is a lot of impressions. And just like Facebook ads, you want to do single targeting for Google ads as well. So if you choose child car seats, do not choose anything else. Simply leave it as it is. You want to be testing different interests in different campaigns. So let's say, for example, we are selling a child car seat. We would leave this as it is and scroll down. Along with this option though, for choosing the specific audiences, you can also choose between different settings. So the first setting is targeting, and this is where you can basically narrow down your campaign to a specific audience, meaning only searches for child car seat will get shown your search ad. And the second option is observation. This is where basically Google kind of just goes in and does its own thing, meaning they kind of test around with what search terms to show for, and the system kind of gets intelligent if you choose this. This is why I like to leave it as observation, because Google is doing its own thing. It is learning from the search terms. You want to let Google do most of the controlling, especially if you're new, because you may not have the data to make decisions yourself. So we leave it at observation because we want Google to kind of understand what kind of people are clicking on our search ad the most. But let's go ahead and scroll down to budget. Now, normally for budget, I like to start my search campaigns at $25. This is a good budget to start at because with a search campaign, Google will need some time to really optimize and understand what search terms to show your ad for. If you set this at a very low budget, Google is gonna have a really hard time understanding who to show it to, and you may not get the best results. So keep the minimum budget at least $25. And for bidding, if your Google ad account is new, I highly recommend that you start at clicks. Now, mainly I would do this on a new Google ad account because the Google ad account needs some time to basically warm up. With a brand new Google ad account, the pixel does not have enough data to make decisions. And if you set it at conversions, you may get conversions, but they'll be very, very costly because Google isn't really sure who to show your ad to. On the other hand, if you first optimize for clicks for at least the first $100 spend, Google will get some idea of who to show your ad to. And if you kind of panicked at the $100 amount that I mentioned, do know that Google gives you a coupon. There should be a coupon available from Google Ads where the first $100 are free, meaning Google will take care of the expense themselves. I highly suggest you search the coupon on Google and find that, but the first $100 should be gone towards the clicks. Once your Google ad account has some data, that's when you can maybe pause this campaign, duplicate it, and set the new campaign's bidding optimization at conversions, because then it will have data to properly optimize. But one thing that I recommend that if you're on a budget is to set a maximum cost per click. So for Google search ads, I recommend that you set this at about 0.80 cents to begin with. And this is mainly because this is something I've tested around with and found the results. If you're selling a product where it is high ticket and a lot of people are bidding more, then your campaign will not get impressions or clicks, and that's when you want to come in and increase the CPC bid limit. But for starters, I recommend that you set it at 80 cents. But now that we've gone over that, let's go ahead and come down to the ad extensions. Now this section is actually very important, and I highly recommend that you have ad extensions set up. But basically what an ad extension is that little column at the very bottom of a Google ad. And to show you exactly what site links are, I've pulled up a Google search for car stereo. And if we go and scroll all the way to the bottom to find the ad that are basically Google search ads, we can see that there is a specific ad for car stereo currently running by this specific store. And this is exactly how a Google search ad looks. But extensions are basically this section right here where a lot of important information is displayed. This store has decided to put in their extension that they're open every day from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. They offer lifetime warranty on installations. And they also said, visit us today, #1 in customer service, California specialists, decades of experience. So those are basically the site link extensions of this specific store, and those can be set up directly right here in this section. So all you have to do is click on the drop down menu to set up the site link extensions. The second option that you have that you should definitely use is callout extension. So if you go back to the advertisement, these are basically callout sections over here where they can click on a specific link. So as you can see, this store has put installation services, view all services, about HB auto sound, view our weekly ad. These are all callout sections which a customer can click on to be directly taken to that specific page in case they don't want to just go ahead and click on the advertisement itself. So again, site link extensions and callout extensions are something that you should definitely use. The third one, which is optional, is call extensions, meaning you can directly input your phone number or your customer service phone number in this section. And this is optional because not everybody has a customer service phone number, but if you do, I highly recommend that you do set that up. But once you've done all of those things, at least filled up whatever you can fill out, then you want to go ahead and click on save and continue. Now this is where we get to set up the specific ad groups, meaning we simply give the ad a name. In this case, we just want to name it ad copy #1. So ad copy #1. And in this box right here, this is where we get to type in exactly which keywords we want to rank for. Now, there are different ways to rank for a keyword. Let's go ahead and read all of the ways. So the first one is broad match, meaning we just type in the keyword itself. So let's say, for example, we're trying to sell dog necklaces. For broad match, we would just type in dog necklaces. And in this case, since it's a broad match, someone who types in dog necklaces for big dogs will be shown our ad, because this is a broad match, meaning any sentence that includes the keyword dog necklaces will be shown our ad. It is very, very broad and something I don't recommend. The second option is parentheses around the keyword, meaning phrase match. So let's do just that. So parentheses, the first parentheses, dog necklaces, and then the ending parentheses. What this means is that your ad will only rank for searches that have the words dog necklaces in them. So if somebody searches up big dog necklaces or small dog necklaces or red dog necklaces, your ad will show up for that. With broad match, it is very, very broad. Sometimes if somebody just searches up the keyword, your ad could actually show up for that, which is why it is not something I recommend. What I recommend is using parentheses mostly, because again, we want to rank for as many searches that include the keywords dog necklaces as we possibly can. The third one, however, is the exact match. So in this case, we would use brackets. So the first starting bracket, and then we put dog necklaces, and be sure to spell it right, and then ending bracket. So in this case, your ad will only show up when somebody searches up the keywords dog necklaces. It will not show up if somebody puts big dog necklaces or small dog necklaces. So that is why I highly recommend that you use parentheses instead of the other two. So in this case, we will just put in dog necklaces because that's what we're trying to sell. But it is important that you do a little bit of keyword research to find out what keywords you want to use. And if you look on the right, it says get keyword ideas. So this section is basically a little section to help you get some more keyword ideas. So let's go ahead and type in dog necklaces and see what comes up. So once we press enter, we're going to be shown all of these other keywords which we possibly can use along with our main keyword. So our main goal now is to basically list whatever keyword which is relevant to our product. So since we're selling a dog necklace, it counts as a dog jewelry product as well. So we would just press the plus button and it'll be directly added to our list. And you'll have to go in and add the parentheses yourself. But this is exactly how you would do the keyword research to find out which keywords you want to rank for. Just go through the list, see what you can use, and only use those keywords which match your product. So cool dog collar, let's say we're selling a collar, we would put that. Cute dog collars, we want that as well, dog necklace collar, etc. So you just keep on adding it on and on until you have added as many keywords as you possibly can that are related to each other and your product most of all. But once you have done that, that's when we go ahead and click save and continue. We now go to the final section, which is creating the ad itself. So this is where you get to add all of the specific headlines. You get to add the display path in case you have a special link for the product. You get to add descriptions, and you get to also optimize your URL in case you want to do that. So if we go back to the ad that I had pulled up regarding the car stereo, we can see that their first headline number 1 is this one right here, stereo for cars. And if we just go ahead and type that in, we want to see how it looks. So stereo for cars, and you want to make sure that you capitalize the first letter of every single word. But once you type it in, you'll see that it updated on the right. So it will show you live updates of how your ad will look. And this car stereo ad put 90 days same as cash finance. So that's their headline number 2. So in this case, if we go ahead and go back to headline number 2 and just type something in, we can see that it'll show up right after our first headline. And headline number 3 will of course show up after our second headline. I highly recommend that you use all of these headlines and use all of the characters that you can input. So as you can see, you can input a maximum of 30 characters. You want to be using characters which not only relate to your website and your product, but also have a lot of emotion in them. So if we go back to our example, we can see that this specific website put the text stereos for cars, 90 days same as cash finance. So as you can see, it is not too emotional filled and doesn't make me happy or sad or doesn't put any emotion inside of me. It is kind of plain, bland, and boring. This is what you want to avoid. Even though this store is selling just stereos for cars, they could have done a much better job with the copywriting. And that is exactly how you can stand out of the crowd and make much more money than your competition. Because of copywriting, my click-through rates were 50%. So always remember to use a lot of emotion-filled words, especially in the headlines, because that is the first thing that your customers are going to see. But the second thing that they will see is the description. So again, you want to use all of the 90 characters that you can input in the description. And once you start typing something in, it'll show up on the right, as you can see. But again, you want to use description 1 and description 2 as well. Basically fill both of them up. And that is the most important thing that you will want to be focusing on when it comes to Google search ads. As a beginner, you don't have to worry about add URL options, but what you will have to focus on is the display path, because this is exactly where your customers will be taken to when they click on your specific link. So I highly recommend that you use the Shopify URL link shortener to shorten your product page's link, and then just type in the shortened version of that link right over here. Our main goal for this link is to look professional and not take up too much space. So that can only be done if you use the Shopify URL link shortener. But once you have done all of these things correctly, you want to go ahead and click on save and continue. And basically the next step is just to confirm your specific ad. So as you can see, it'll just take you to the confirmation page and your campaign should be up and running. So that is the basic step as to how you can set up the Google search ad. But now that we've gone over the exact step-by-step procedure to setting up these Google search ads, let's go ahead and go to our Google Doc to go over the tips and tricks on how to be successful with your Google search ads. Alright, so the first thing you have to understand when it comes to Google search ads is copywriting is everything when it comes to search ads. It's just like when you would do a Facebook ad and create the ad copy. You want to make sure that that is perfect, and the same goes for these Google search ads. You You want to have multiple variations of the ad text and include as much emotion as you possibly can inside the ad copy, because people will only click on it if it is emotion filled. But if you're not sure as to how to do proper copywriting, again, I'll have a link to a video in the description below where I go over these copywriting techniques. But make sure to focus on copywriting, read some books on it if you really want to be successful, and do proper copywriting for these Google search ads. The next thing is search ads take time to optimize and for Google to basically start showing it to the right audience. This is just like any other advertisement that you would put up, but it needs time to optimize and for Google to understand who your correct audience is. People search for all kinds of funky things, and Google needs to understand whether your ad should be shown for these funky things or not. Because if it starts getting shown for every keyword that is even the slightest bit similar to yours, you're going to be burning through money without getting any results. So Google, again, needs time to understand who to show it to, and I would not be too worried if your ad is not profitable from day one. Give it some time to work. And that brings me to my third and final point, which is testing. Just like any advertising platform that you would use, with the Google search ads, you need to do testing. Whether it is testing what keyword to rank for or whether it is testing the ad copy, you need to do all of it. Something that worked for me may not always work for you, so the best thing to do is test and see what works for you. Some keywords may do really well for you, while other keywords may just bomb, so you won't get that data unless you actually test. But that was the step-by-step tutorial on how to set up these Google search ads. If you found any type of value in this video, make sure to smash that like button down below and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.